Alright, this is lesson 17 for Algebra 2, adding, subtracting, and graphing complex numbers. We're talking about complex numbers, which has to deal with those imaginary numbers, right? We've only talked about real numbers all our lives, so we learned how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide real numbers. Okay, and then now we're learning how to add, subtract, multiply, divide complex numbers and graph them. So it's just another world. It's all very similar, though. Okay? And we know that there's imaginary numbers because if we look more deeply in math, that's, we find things, okay, more details. Here are the steps for today for adding and subtracting complex numbers. And I'll do numbers 1 and 2, which should be pretty straightforward and simple for you. So here we go. Number 1. We got negative 16 minus 6i plus negative 1 plus 11i. So we got two complex numbers. We have this first complex number plus the second complex number right here. Okay? So the first thing you want to do is distribute this sign right here, the plus, into each of these. Okay? So write down negative 16. This is a real number. Minus 6i. This is an imaginary number. Plus the positive, or plus negative 1 is minus 1. Plus positive 11 is positive 11i. And then I distributed that. Then I'm going to combine like terms. I'm looking for the real part first. So we have negative 16 minus 1 is going to be negative 17. Negative 6i plus 11i is going to be positive 5i. Okay. Then I want to make sure it's in standard form. We have the real part first and then the imaginary part, so we know it's correct. So that is our answer right here. That's a complex number. We're all done. Box your answer. Make sense? Yeah? Pretty simple. We did this yesterday. Watch me do number 2. Number 2 is the same thing, except our operation between our two complex numbers is a minus sign. So we have negative 5 plus 11i minus negative 4 plus 7i. Okay? If that's the case, then we want to first write down or distribute any negative signs. So we have negative 5 plus 11i. Okay. Then we have negative times the negative 4 is positive 4i. Negative times a positive 7i is negative 7i. I'm sorry, why is there a 4i there? My bad. Okay. Minus 7i. Okay. We've distributed that, so now we're going to focus on our next line. So combining like terms, we have negative 5 plus 4 is going to be negative 1. Then positive 11i minus 7i is positive 4i. Okay, and we're all done. We're going to box our answer because we have the real part. We have the real part, and we also have the imaginary part in the correct order. We're all done. Okay? Pretty straightforward, right? Alright, so what I'd like you to do really quickly is turn to your neighbor. I'm going to give you only like 20 seconds to talk about it. And then we're going to have you write it down. Ready, set, talk. Let's continue number 3. Negative 11 minus 13i plus 3i plus 8i. Alright, so that one's by yourself. Go. Okay, so number 3, negative 11 plus 3 is negative 8. Okay, and then negative 13i plus 8i is negative 5i, okay? So if you got that, good job. If you didn't, just make the correction, okay? Number 4, by yourselves, go. Okay, so this one we got 10 minus 14i. If we were to combine these, we get negative 4i. Then I have this negative sign. I'm going to distribute it to each of these terms. So we got negative 8 is positive 8. Negative 4i is positive 4i. Then I combine like terms. Negative 4i plus 4i is 0i plus 8. And 0 of anything is just nothing. So you could have written it 0 plus, or 8 plus 0i. That's, but 0 of anything is just 8. So our answer is just going to be 8, okay? If you did this one, that's okay. That's a complex number, but just means a 0. Okay, so, alright. That's it for adding and subtracting. Watch up here now. I need you to focus up here for a moment. This is now graphing, okay? These are easy points to get on any test, okay? So, but you just need to see what I'm talking about. You're going to see this and be like, oh, this is super easy, okay? So, graphing a complex number is just like graphing any point. You have an x and a y. So, the x axis up here, the x-axis up here is the real axis. This represents real numbers, and the y-axis represents imaginary numbers, okay? So, for example, on number 5, it says 5 plus 3i, right? So 5 is the real part, and 3i is the imaginary, right, part. So if that's the case, then I would start on my origin, starting with the x-axis. I would move 5 points to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And then move 3 points up from there. 1, 2, 3. And that's where I should end off my points. So this is where my answers could be. That's it. That's it. Cupcakes, right? Okay, so turn to your neighbor really quick. Tell them how to do that really quick. Tell them how easy it is. 10 seconds. And then start number 6. Ready, set, go. Number 6, the real part is -3, so you go -3. And then the imaginary part's +3, so you should have ended up there. Plot your point. That's it. The only thing I will add, though, is sometimes I'll give you the graph, and you'll have to tell me what the equation is or the expression is. Can you do that? If I just gave you a point, would you be able to think backwards? Yes or no? Okay, good. So I'm not going to go through that. I'm going to just assume you could get through that, okay? That concludes our lesson. So if you could just turn your iPads off.